Hey there, Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move life forward in the most positive way possible. I'm kind of excited to get to your channel message. It was super freaking interesting. So I will do that, and then we will cover the 2 weeks, the Moon Astrology of what's going on, and that will be May 25th through the 31st, and then I will timestamp, and we will do the next week of June 1st through the 7th, and so that way you could come back later and look. Wow, really? I thought so. Okay, hold on. You're getting a lot of information. Okay, so a great way to get a channel message that really resonates for you. Of course, check out your sun, your moon, your rising in case this one doesn't. But when you leave me a comment, I write your name down into my little book of names, and then I focus on this energy when I am channeling. So that would be a really good thing. You could just leave me an emoji. It doesn't have to actually be a comment. It's just so I can get your name. So your vision, super cool. You were walking through a dark wooded area. There was a path in front of you, but it was really dark out. I mean, it was like moonless sky. And you took an arrow out and you lit the arrow and you shot it forward onto the path and into the dirt, but it lit up so you could see where to walk next. I guess it would be like, you know, an ancient fleshlight. It was the coolest thing. And so what I got from that was spirit fire lighting the way before you. Like, not knowing where you're going, having the courage and determination to get to wherever that is, and having the confidence in yourself and in spirit that you will be led by your intuition, be guided forward on this path. It was really cool. Also, fire reminds me of like passion and having the arrow and having a goal. So a passionate goal as you just start moving forward, heading towards your goal. It was really, really cool. And I'm just looking to see if I wrote anything else down. No, that was it. It was just the most amazing. I was like, did they used to do that? Like, I don't know. But it seemed cool, and so probably. So probably. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the first week here of the Moon Astrology. We are covering, of course, May 25th through the 31st. And so the moon is in Cancer. There is an energy, overall energy, this next couple weeks. Okay, so we just had on the 22nd, I'm recording on the 23rd, we just had on the 22nd the new moon in Gemini. And the new moon in Gemini, if you haven't done your new moon intentions, I highly recommend that, Sagittarius, because that is in your 7th house of partnerships. That could be business, that could be personal, but also the North Node just moved into Gemini. So this is the energy of like the next 18 months and where you're heading in some kind of partnership and how do you want it to go. I feel like you can't really see very far in front of you, but where do you want to go? So think about what the destination is, but you may not know what the path looks like to get to the destination, and that's okay. It's about taking those steps forward, and the first step forward would be like, well, where am I going? Like, what's the sense of starting out on a journey if you don't have some idea where you want to go, right? So there's that. Also, there's a end of next week. That means if the North Node is in Gemini, that means the South Node is in Sagittarius, and it will be like this for the next 18 months. We do have one more round in Cancer and Capricorn coming up in the next 30 days, and then after that, it is all about you guys. So Sagittarius is those long-held beliefs. It's those deep embedded ancient wisdom, knowing things that we just know, right? Except that when the South Node is there, you're being asked to release long-held beliefs that may be holding you back and move into the energy of Gemini, which is curious and wants to do the research and wants to try something new. And so is this this is like a stab in the dark kind of thing, like being curious and interested into what might be around the bend and being willing to walk in that direction to see where it is that you are going. So this energy of the moon in Cancer is about knowing that the answers are in you right now. It's going within to look for the answers. It's internalizing the search, but being optimistic as you consider what all your options are. Your options for growth, you know, and I want you to choose self-love. No matter what path you decide to go down, keep in mind that love of self should be a deciding factor. If it doesn't support that, then it's not the way to go. Oh, well, this is really weird. Okay, all right. So you have gliding through the currents. With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help not so weird. Will help your dreams take flight. Now it makes sense. Okay, so going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. And the reason I was so confused was because the next one is leaping through the air. It's the next step. So cool. The path will light up before you. A plan you have made is on track. If you are waiting for something, get to work and stop putting off your ideas or projects that you are considering. Okay, and the last one says keep it in check. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You might be moving into something too quickly or missing some important details. So being in flow with spirit doesn't mean rushing ahead, right? It does mean moving. It does mean going ahead and taking the leap of faith, yes, but being in flow with spirit. So pay attention to the details. Listen to your intuition. Follow your guidance. If you're having to light up the path in front of you by shooting the arrows into the dark, to light up the next steps, and you go running and you get ahead of it too far, now you're in the dark again, and you might miss, like the stump in the road that smacks you in the face or the bear around the corner, right? So go ahead and slow and steady progress in flow with spirit, and know that you're on the right track. But you need to do some work. That leaping through the air is actually doing something. It's shooting the arrow through the air, right? Leaping through the air. Oh, that's really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so, and it's all about whether or not I like it, right? Huh? All right, so on Wednesday, the moon is going to move into your fellow fire sign of Leo, which is all about long-distance travel, which not so much is happening. But it's about higher learning, long distance learning. So maybe getting on the computer and doing some research. It is connection with your higher self and with spirit. It is that kind of communication also. So don't discount the importance of that. And you have the moon is coming into opposition with Saturn over there in Aquarius. And Aquarius, so Saturn likes boundaries. Aquarius is like, no boundaries. And so there's kind of this energy. It's in your, that would be happening in your second house of what you value, this opposition energy. So, wow. Is that right? Hold on a second. In your third house. Okay, sorry for a second there. It's in your third house of communication. So you might have like a really breakthrough idea, but maybe you don't need to be sharing that out there. So having a very creative idea, but maybe not telling everybody about it. We also have Mercury moving into Cancer and coming into conjunction with that North Node in your house of partnerships going on. So partnership and transformation. Yeah, okay, so transforming. So, this is about listening to your intuition. There is a lot going on here, and not everything here is going to be truthful. So, really, this is the part where you don't want to race ahead on something, where you do want to be keeping in check and paying attention, because there is a lot of opportunity for pitfall, because you take an idea. Maybe somebody says something and you think it means one thing, but that's not really what they meant. Or maybe they thought they meant it when they said it, but now tomorrow they changed their mind. And there's a lot of that energy when Venus is in retrograde in Gemini, and so now communication is a little more complicated for Mercury when it's in the water sign, and so people will express their emotions, but they may also try to hide their emotions. And so really listening to your intuition, tuning into your intuition is your best way to navigate through this. Don't run too far ahead. Don't let your thoughts get ahead of what you can actually prove, is what it feels like. So Oh yeah, definitely. Don't want to do that. Okay, so this is about nourishing your soul and figuring out what path will nourish your soul. But you're being, again, the impeccability. This is that paying attention to the details. So you really, I know you really want to get moving on things or whatever, but movement, yes. Slow, steady, measured. Pay attention. How far ahead can you see? Take those steps. Wait until you have more information, the next arrow. But it will lead to success. It will lead to success. Successful is my life in ways beyond my greatest expectations. Believe that where you're going to be successful, but snail's pace kind of feels like the way to go. So you can't, I'm sorry for your sign, you can't go running ahead. You're going to have to slow and steady, make your way through it based on actual information that you get and that you can, and in the dark, okay, so you know how there's, things will look like one thing, but when you get up close, it's something else. So really paying attention to as much of the detail as you possibly can as you navigate the space between now and the time of that full moon in your sign that's an eclipse, right? So when the moon moves on Friday into Virgo, now Virgo likes to assess and discern, and it likes to analyze, and the moon in this position actually likes that too. So it's a very, very supportive energy of analyzing and sorting through things. And this is happening in your, I'm so confused. I have to go to the thing. I've gotten confused. Okay, good. It is your career sector. I was going to say your career sector. So there's a lot of emphasis on career and transformation and education to help you make good choices. And education might be going to school and taking online courses, but it also could be about doing the research in order to make a good decision. Like, I feel like you have a lot of options and things that are going in, a lot of stuff to be navigated through. And so there seems to be an emphasis on that for you. So you have unity. You're spiritually connected to everyone through God. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, your friends, and yourself. Oh, that's really interesting. And that's really high vibrational energy there. So this is you using that innate wisdom and knowledge that you come into this world with. This is your ability to heal that Sagittarius has. So if there's a situation in your family, your friends, around you, maybe your physical body that needs to be healed, just so Reiki's a really good idea. If you can't do it for yourself, then Nancy's in the description box below. She does Reiki. Give that a shot. So we have balance, work, rest, and play. It is important for you to have fun along with fulfilling your responsibilities. So keeping things in balance, that's very Virgo energy there. All about the balance and keeping things together and in order. You have very grounded kind of energy this week to focus on. You were shooting the arrow into the dirt, not up into the air. So it's very practical. It's very much about... It's very practical use of your innate wisdom is what it feels like. All right, so make plans and focus and trust your instincts because fears are going to kick up a little. I want you to see how you are safely cocooned away if you stay centered. This is that part of finding that balance, right? So make some plans and listen to your intuition and take the time to move forward. So make plans and focus. And focus is coming up next week too. So there's this need to really consider where you are right now and where it is that you're going in slow, measured steps, paying attention to the details, not rushing ahead. Not jumping up into some unknown thing at this time. Sometimes that's fun and sometimes it's worth it. But right now I'm thinking that's not probably the way to go. So let's just see what we get here. All right, so let's move into the next week, which is 45. So we're going to do June 1st through the 7th. And we start out with that moon in Libra. Okay, so this is that energy right here, you know, of setting for yourself. Oh, here it is. These healthy boundaries around yourself. Here we had the boundary finishing out last week, and we have the boundary again, only now you're surrounded by that pink self-love. That's that healing energy, that shield that you put around yourself when focusing and, you know, following through on your intuition. It's also really good energy for communication from the heart. So communicating with yourself, what does your heart really feel? That's that intuition. And communicating with other people, but this is more about listening and paying attention to the details of what they're saying, reading between the lines so that you're getting all the information. This isn't so much about disseminating the information out as much as it is about interpreting the information that comes in and how and what the messages really are. So communication from the heart, honest communication, yes, but really in this case, it feels like listening is way more important than speaking. Like really trying to figure out what the situation is, because you're supposed to be paying attention to the details, right? So that becomes really important. The moon is going to move into Scorpio on Tuesday at 12:06 p.m. And for you, that's in your 12th house. This is the house where your goals, your dreams, your wishes are. It's also about your spiritual belief and spirituality. And it's about figuring out what is really important to you as far as your passions go. And so the information that you gather from listening and paying attention during the week before, right, the May 25th through the 31st, gathering that information, now you can really, you might have some kind of a reaction to some of it. Is it a positive or is it a negative? What does that mean? And sorting through that. And so it's going to take a lot of willpower and focus on your part to focus on the dreams for the transformation that you want, and to be able to focus in on the details in order to get where you want. There's a lot of need for focus, this, you know, really, really drilling down into details. We have the impeccability, you know, we have this keep things in check card. You know, there's just a lot of really paying attention to details happening here over the course of the next 2 weeks leading up to that eclipse in your sign. So on Thursday, the moon does move into Sagittarius at 1:17 p.m. It's really got some great energy that day. And I really want you to, for yourself, take the opportunity to congratulate yourself on the successes that you've had. So often we notice and we pay attention to all of our little failures. Well, this is in the house of you. And this is really a kind of an opportunity for you to really go, okay, but I'm good at this and I did this well. And that I didn't do so great, but look what I learned, because that's a success too. If you can actually learn from things. And so I know that I would always tell prospective employers when I would be in interviews, you know, I'd be like, well, I make mistakes. I do, because I do. But I don't make the same mistake twice. Like, I pay attention and I learn from them and I utilize it. I said, that is not to say that there won't be more mistakes. It just won't be the same one. And that's kind of how I feel like you should feel about your life. Like, if you've made mistakes, whatever, what did you learn from them so that you can avoid that pitfall, that trap, that stump in the road, that ditch, that bear around the corner, right? So this is kind of what you're being asked to do, is kind of take a look at that and see what you can do, you know, on Wednesday and on Thursday, really. So, how do you navigate this? I totally forgot to pull a card for the moon in Scorpio, so I'm going to do that right now. Oh, wow. So, relationships. Not a surprise, right? Because, you know, we got the North Node happening and you just planted your seeds of intention. So what are you going to release and let go of? What long-held belief do you have in regards to that about who you are? I think is going to come into play, because here we've got this, I'm thinking about somebody from the past. But see the wands in his hand? He has two choices. And he can't decide, does he move toward that or not? Like, somebody's reaching towards somebody and somebody is standing there hesitating. using their intuition to decide which path to take. You know? Okay. All right, so that feels stressful. I want to show you something, though. He's taking the mask off. He's taking the mask off. Whoever this is, male, female, it doesn't matter. Whoever's standing there in indecision is being very honest and very truthful with themselves. And I can't encourage you enough to be very honest and truthful with yourself. Okay, yeah, we have a personal issue reaches resolution with this full moon. This full moon is about releasing and letting go of something that's holding you back to give you room to blossom, give you room to grow. This a full moon eclipse is about personal release. It's not about what you're releasing out there in the world. It's about what you're releasing inside. And it's a personal issue, and it is going to reach some sort of resolution as a result of this. Now, is that resolution going to happen the next day? I would say no. I would say no for so many reasons. For so many reasons, I would say no on that. But, because we're heading into eclipse season, and we have 2 more eclipses coming up, like within the next 30 days. And then everything right now, all the planets are moving in retrograde, so everything is slow, and you are asked to pay attention to the details. So I don't think it's like, but I think inside of yourself, I think you get really honest with yourself about something, about what's really important and what it is that you want. And then that way, yes. In that way, I think you get clear about where it is you want to go, and you start making some movement in that direction. Ooh. Well, now, I know one particular Sagittarius who's about to do the happy dance. Okay, so, first off, know your power. Look at the flames on that. Woo! If that isn't a Sagittarius thing, I don't know. Know your own power, okay? And knowing your own power means that there is a need for restraint. Knowing your power, when you are on fire, that means you can accomplish things, but it also means that if you rush too far ahead too fast, you can scorch earth. So know your own power. Words can cut both ways. They are beneficial and they can be harmful. So again, I'm really moving slowly, paying attention to the details of what is actually lit up in front of you that you can see. But this is really good. You have seek the lesson. You have seek the lesson. There is a lesson here. There is something to learn. There's always something to learn, right? That's that self-congratulatory thing where you're like, okay, but here's what I learned from this. And that's so good. We have embraced the feminine. This is like the Empress card. This is being open and receiving. This is growth. This is allowing others to give to you. This is also allowing time for gestation and for things to grow. And I think what's growing is a relationship because we have let 2 become 1. That's right, Cherokee. I can hear you screaming. All right, so let's get a card. I'm sure she's not the only one, but holy moly. All right. Let's go on here. We've got the last thing that happens this week is that moon is going to move into Capricorn. And so this is that grounding back into the earth. That's that energy of the arrow hitting the dirt. It's the grounding, it's the hard work, it's the what's the next step, it's the paying attention, it's the self-reflection from a kind of unemotional vantage point. See, your head is above the emotional waters. It is, but there's no masks. This is true self-reflection. This is true self-reflection about what brings in the joy, what brings in the pleasure in your life, but also what is your part and your responsibility in creating that. If you can patch up and fill up your own bucket of love, then you are prepared to be in a relationship that allows for other people to come in. You want to do that. Wow, look at this. Nice. So you have the stag spirit, which is take the lead. That is you lighting up the path before you. This is in your second house of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and financial resources. So remember back where they told you needed to take action, make a plan, and focus? Here's where you take some action. And this action has to do with where do you create the value in your life? Where do you create the value in your life? And know that you have the scarab beetle. This is magic works through you. Magic works through you. As above, so below. Where you focus your intention, where you decide to pay attention to the details, what you are doing is what you're going to create. So, staying away from the negative, staying in the positive, allowing for that slow and steady wins the race energy, paying attention to the details as you make your way forward. This is how you win. This is how you win these 2 weeks. But you're setting yourself up. And you know it's 2 weeks, but honestly, I think these videos are so long because they really go out over what's going to happen over the course of the next 18 months because of the eclipse and because of the nodes being in Gemini and that being so powerful. So, regenerate your body. Regenerate your body. If you are recovering from some kind of a health thing, again, it's that slow and steady wins the race. It's paying attention to each step as you go along, allowing for the personal growth of your body to get stronger again. You know your own power. Knowing your own power might mean that you need to recuperate. Like, what is your actual power level? It's like the battery on your phone. Is it at half? Is it at a quarter? Do you need to plug in? I think maybe, right? So Sapphire. All right. So no racing down the road, but keep moving forward. I will see you back here on Monday, and we will cover the last 2 weeks of Gemini season. And I think we might get into the eclipses. I haven't really decided how I'm going to do that yet. But stick around. Let's see what happens. All right. And you guys have a great week, and we'll talk soon.